So we are now recording. Okay. So really just kind of. Are you ready?
That's not how we should start it.
Hi there, everyone. My name is Colin Hodgin.
And my name is Tyler Skrove.
And we are two college film students that really, really like movies and possibly share two brain cells between the both of us and more ADHD possibly too. So it's we just wanted to try this out. We have no idea what we're doing, but we just wanted to sit down and talk about movies because we just like talking about really weird stuff.
They're fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So today we like 2 seconds before we started this, I asked Tyler, I said, what do you want to talk about? And he just brought up Infinity War. So we have literally no idea what we're doing. We're just going to talk and see where this goes. And if it's anything, then maybe you'll hear it, but who knows what.
Oh, it's just our little personal private ears.
Exactly.
Our little special ASMR something.
Yeah. Try and get a little bit closer when you talk to.
Okay. Is this good?
That's actually good. That's
okay.
Great.
This is very...
Okay.
Hold on. Hey guys, we're sharing one mic. This is really bad.
It's kind of awkward. We're like shoulder to shoulder in my bedroom right now. You can hear our chairs creaking when we move. So this is extremely unprofessional, but we're just gonna.
It's a start.
It's for fun. It's just something. So I'm gonna start off by just saying, Infinity War to me was one of the most exciting moments of my life in a cinematic sense. Because you and I are from the generation where we're literally like bonded to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We started with Iron Man and we grew up with all those MCU. I remember the first one I saw in theaters was Captain America, the First Avenger. And I remember being like, oh, this is amazing. That's really what got me into Marvel and maybe even movie making. But
yeah,
I don't know if I'd be bold to say that.
I can say that that's what got me into filmmaking. Seeing the first Avengers movie, I literally,
that is a whole nother memory of just seeing the very first Avengers movie, seeing it all come together.
But like, I literally weird story, hated movies right up until about like 7th grade. I was terrified of watching movies.
It's okay. I love you say that because I was terrified of going to the theater. I don't know why. I had like I had social anxiety going to the theater to where my parents would ask to go see a movie and I'd want to see the movie, but right before I'd be like, I get real anxious, be like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Oh, good.
I don't know if it was the people. I don't know what. It was just being in that environment terrified me.
See, I was the person who watched kid shows, right? Way too long.
Yeah.
Like a show called like Wildcrats.
I watched Wildcrats with my brothers. Yeah.
I mean, I watched that probably up until like 5th or 6th grade.
It's a good show.
It's a good, but
and I didn't move up before that.
Yes.
Which was
God.
I'm a little bit older than you.
But yes. I watched the movie too. What do you mean?
I'm like a little bit.
You're like a whole year older than me.
Well, still. I thought it was 2 years, but no, I guess I am 1 year older. But
straight up, yeah, like 8th grade, saw it on like projected onto a garage. Literally couldn't even hear the movie, but I was like, this is dope.
Yeah,
like this, like I had never seen a movie and been just like mind blown, and that was mind blowing to me. Literally hadn't seen any of the movies before that. That was just like my first, actually probably big movie that I watched.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean before that was like Christian movies and stuff like that because my parents were like,
yeah,
whoop, whoop.
That VeggieTales.
Oh, VeggieTales.
Biggest movie before Avengers for you was probably Larry Boy, Lord of the Beans.
I did see Lord of the Rings before that. I think
Lord of the Rings. That's good.
I think I did.
We should talk about that another time.
Yeah, that's another topic.
Anyway, let's talk about Infinity War.
Marvel was my starting point.
It was a major deal. Don't hit the mic. Sorry. All right, just Marvel itself was so cool. Yeah. To grow up and like see your heroes up there on the big screen and you feel the action, you feel connected to that. And everyone has their own opinion on the MCU. I personally, I don't know. I love a lot of the movies, but I feel like it is kind of slowing down and kind of it's
well, like, yeah, we had the main stuff. Like we had we had the Trinity of Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. Yeah,
Thor's. It feels like the stories aren't getting a lot better. And I don't know if that's me getting older and realizing they're all kind of like that or what, but even just from that perspective of like, oh, maybe they're getting better or maybe I'm just getting older. Mm-hmm. That was not the case with Infinity War because Infinity War was me going in being super, it's that childhood hype. It's that childhood of like, oh, I get to see all these superheroes together and they're going to fight Thanos, who they've been hyping up since the first Avengers movie. I remember we were in TV and film and you bought your tickets before mine because you're seeing it with your dad. And
No, that was Endgame.
No, that was Infinity War 2.
Really?
Yeah, because I literally remember being like, Tyler, are you ready for our lives to change? Like Infinity War is coming out tonight. Are you ready? I remember that conversation.
I thought I saw it late. Did I?
I don't know.
I thought I saw it literally with Mr. James.
I don't know. Maybe then. Maybe I am thinking Endgame, but I remember I'll tie an Endgame with this same hype of just being like so baffling, just like so excited. Like I was literally just like shaking from excitement.
Yeah. Can we agree? Infinity War, better movie. Endgame, just hype. Like the entire time was just,
and that's what I want to talk about is that while the Marvel movies you can have your opinions on it, I think Infinity War just as a standalone movie is a really good movie. It's a good sense of story,
character study,
and it has great character study. You were talking about the Studio Binder video essay talking about how Thanos has his hero journey basically.
Yeah, it has a hero's arc, like in a sense, yeah, like he literally did probably have one of the most developed arcs in that film.
Yeah. And it's crazy because you see it a lot, but I don't think I've ever sympathized with the villain more than Thanos. Totally. Maybe in like Last of Us at times or something. Video games. But like I've never
maybe
on screen seen such a big menacing villain, but also like be able to understand their ideologies and be like, okay, that's how does this make me feel? But no, I agree. Just all of it. Even if the movie's like a good amount of CGI, I think a lot of the shots were very visually stunning. The Russo brothers and their creative team did a really good job of just kind of creating this cinematic feel. It wasn't just a regular action movie.
Totally.
Like there's a lot of crazy, beautiful shots. Like the shot of Thanos at the end of the movie. And this is spoilers for all you that have not seen the movie, even though this is...
We're literally doing this like post Endgame, like a year after Endgame. If you haven't seen Infinity War at this point, like
you should see it. It's a good movie. Go see it.
It's a good movie, but like, what are you doing?
Hey, real talk. Go pause whatever thing you're. If you're watching this right now, go watch the movie.
Go watch the movie. It's real nice.
Go watch the movie. You can do it.
Why are we getting quieter?
Well, I believe in you because I'm getting to their level.
Is this their subconscious now?
No, well, yeah, this is their inner thoughts.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, go watch that movie.
Go see. All
right, I think they're back from the movie. Or this is a really stupid bit. All right, anyways.
This is a dumb bit.
But
we should cut that.
No, it's the shot of Thanos walking right after he I think right after he actually gets all the gems, all the stones correctly. And he snaps. He wakes up in like this dream kind of escape, and it's like completely orange, and it's like he's walking through water, and there's like a shrine in the middle, and he meets his daughter Gamora, and so the whole kind of meme where it's like, oh, I did it and all that. And,
would you lose
everything? Which that on its own is a very sad quote.
Yeah,
of like he
like that
the sacrifice he did to get what he wanted to kill his daughter. He actually did
felt for Thanos on that.
You did, like, you honestly. Really did. It's like even though he won, he lost internally, and you even see that in Endgame because you see him in the first 20 minutes. You see how he's changed of being like depressed. Talking to Nebula. Yeah, he's talking to Nebula. He's like, depressed. I guess I judged you too harshly.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm sorry, and then Thor kills him because he's angry, but it's just. Which that on its own was a crazy moment for Thor to just go for it and be like, oh, I went for the head. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just, I think a lot of the shots, a lot of the story, the character development was really great. I think they really played off great with what they did with Taika Waititi, what Taika Waititi did with Thor Ragnarok. Because Taika basically rewrote Thor. He made him more empathetic, more comedic to appeal to the audience. But at the same time, I think he just kind of had a better handle of who Thor was.
Totally. Like he actually had a character now instead of just, I mean, like he had his character arc and study, but like you felt more for him.
You felt the family dynamic too.
Yeah.
Between him and Loki and
all that stuff.
When Loki dies, first off, the first scene in Infinity War.
Oh yeah.
It picks up directly after Ragnarok of the ship getting trashed. And it's just so cool for the speech of like, I forget what character his name is, but it's the Squidward looking dude.
I don't know any of their names.
He's like, oh, you're all children of Thanos. He's come to save you. You should be lucky. But he's just walking over all these corpses. It's like, that's a powerful image. That's really good direction because they start focusing on the corpses. And it shows it's like these people are meant to be messed with, but they think they're almost like this kind of divine entity, this divine cult that's trying to purify the universe.
And the visual contrast between that opening image, literally of just like war, destruction, corpses laying everywhere, to the garden at the end of the movie,
dude, just
both. I mean, I don't know if I could say it's beautiful at the beginning, like that, just the weird.
I think there's a sense of cinematography.
Yeah,
the cinematography is really good. It's not a beautiful moment.
No,
because they're walking over massive amounts of corpses.
Like visually, like just the camera itself, great. It's wild. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's really
it's a good sense. Yeah. And even just it's a good sense of movement, because it helps kind of build suspense. And then when they reveal Thanos, he has your back to the audience, and you're like, oh, that's him. Oh my gosh.
Like,
and then
this is literally the first time we've seen him for realsies on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think
he does that whole little speech he has.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Way to introduce a villain real quick.
Josh Brolin did a fantastic job playing him.
Killed it.
You get a lot of cheesy villains in superhero movies. All the old Batman movies, like Jim Carrey as the Riddler, Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Mr. Freeze, and then even the more recent Marvel movies, like Jude Law, surprisingly, in Captain Marvel was kind of cheesy at times. I think he's a really good actor.
I mean, we can talk about that movie for
Captain
a second.
Marvel.
That was.
I went in expecting less, and I think that made my experience better, because I was like, oh, it pleasantly was better than I thought it was going to be. But looking back, it's like it's still nothing compared to Infinity War.
Like literally any of the other.
Pretty much.
Like, okay, cool concept, awesome.
I think she's a good
idealism.
character in the comics. Captain Marvel,
comics.
Okay. Captain Marvel as a character, not attached to Brie Larson or anything like that. Captain Marvel as a character, I think is a cool character. I think it's a really cool idea of what ultimate power looks like and how someone can handle that, and also the fact it's in the form of a woman. It's being controlled by this girl who comes from a strong military background. She's not afraid to put people in their place. Yeah, she's basically like Captain America, where she'll fight for anyone for justice and stuff, for honor, or not for honor, but just more so for what's right. Brie Larson, I think, could be a good Captain Marvel. I think the main issue they ran into is that the writers and directors did not have a good handle over her character.
Definitely.
She felt very
the writing
bland.
was just not great.
And even in Endgame, going back to Endgame, I feel like she was a little better in Endgame.
Totally.
Which is surprising, because Endgame was shot before her solo movie.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Endgame and Infinity War were shot back to back, and she shot all of her scenes for Endgame way before her own personal movie.
That's wild. Yeah.
So even the Russo brothers weren't having control over her direction and the way they portrayed her. It just came off more accurate, more satisfying, I guess, and less
more of a character instead of just
less stoic
being. Yeah. Or like less, more down, like just there was faults to her.
I agree.
And that was like, there just wasn't enough of like conflict in like her solo movie that made her just like a likable character of just like you could feel for her. It was more so she was kind of just like, oh, you can't get over this? Cool. Well, now you're real strong and neat.
Yeah, now you got all these cool powers.
Now it's easy. Look at that. Wow.
Brie Larson's a good actress.
Yes. All that being said, not hating on her specifically, but just that character in the movie writing, like the writing just wasn't great.
That's the sad thing, is like when you get someone like Brie Larson, who does have a lot of talent, she's someone that's not being used to her full potential, because it's like she can do really good stuff. I think she was just trying to, they were trying to make her like this cool, like, oh, she's like so confident, she's so badass. It's like, no, that didn't really come off great at times. It came off just kind of like overconfident, it came off stingy at times.
Totally.
Obnoxious even. So I don't know. I feel like they really need to get into the mindset of Captain Marvel, and I'm hopeful because, you know, look back at the first Thor movie, look back at Thor 2. It's like they didn't have a good handle of Thor, but then Taika Waititi came in, they brought a new director, a new creative mind, and he completely redid Thor to where you get a whole nother kind of viewpoint into his mind, and you're way more empathetic to him. You're way more you sympathize with him. You want him to win. You want him to laugh and be happy. And I feel like that's another really good thing about Infinity War, tying it back to the thing we're supposed to be talking about. Is Thor had a great character journey throughout Infinity War. Because Taika set up a lot of really good stuff. Taika made Thor a dude, bro. Yeah. Taika made Thor this like all happy, like, hey, I love to drink beer and I love to party, and I'm looking for the Infinity Stones, but I don't know where they are. And it's just this guy who's just kind of a careless kind of dude. He really just fights for glory. He fights for booze. He's just kind of there for fun. But in Infinity War, you really start to see Thor at his wits' end, because in Ragnarok he lost his father, he lost Asgard, he lost his eye, his sister tried to kill him. Thor
started Infinity War. His brother murdered.
Yeah, his brother murdered in front of him, and it's even a part where he's talking with Rocket Raccoon, and it's just you kind of see Thor's at his lowest point. He's just kind of like, I've lost everything. I have to kill Thanos. That's the only way I can feel good about myself, is that if I kill the man who took the last thing I had, my brother who I finally connected with. That was another sad thing. Is it's like Loki's died so many times, and I guess technically he's still alive, but it's also just like,
I mean, the fact that he died, but like time travel.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like the fact that Loki and Thor reconnected and actually had a possible good relationship coming. It does make it that much more sad. It's like, oh, he really just died that early on. And you see the pain in Thor's eyes as Loki dies, because he just screams and like tears well up. And it's just like, it's horrible. It's
like really, literally just connected with this guy that he's now lost to like a few other times. But now literally saw this guy like, what, did he get stabbed or?
No, Thanos just broke his neck.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Like literally just broke his neck, tossed body on the ground.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't know. It just... that was one of my favorite. I think Thor, especially with Taika's new version of Thor, is just such a good character, and I love how the Russos used him to their best benefit. And even his surprise transformation in Endgame was really good, because it shows even after everything, after losing his brother in Ragnarok, but losing Asgard and his dad and mom and everything, and just. You see him maybe start to win. He gets a new weapon. He gets Stormbreaker. Everything's looking good. And then suddenly it's just all taken away from him again, as he has the opportunity to kill Thanos. And then Thanos says that really, impactful line. It's the famous line. He just goes, should have gone for the head. And then he clicks in, and Thor realizes, and you see it in Endgame. You see it in the trailers. You see it in the beginning of the movie, that Thor feels 100% responsible for the death of half the population of the universe. And that's really...
Yeah, seeing
the beyond low.
Yeah,
because you realize he's like that man. It's you see this man in Ragnarok who's so happy go lucky, he's funny, and then in Endgame, after everything he's been through, it's a depressed man. There's no joking around it. It's Thor. Thor's not Thor anymore. Thor's a shell of himself. He's broken. He's brittle. He's angry. He wants revenge, and that's why he kills Thanos so fast. Is because he's just like, I want to feel like I'm good. I want to know I didn't do that. I'm fine. And then he does kill Thanos, but he doesn't feel better. Anything. Yeah. He still feels bad because nothing changed. No one came back. And then he becomes all fat from just depression and stuff. And it's just, everyone makes fun of him in that movie because it's funny. He's fat. Thor's fat. It's funny, but it's also just like, it's sad because you see, he went through so much pain. And even the part where he holds Mjolnir, when he sees his mom in Asgard in Endgame, he has a line where he says like, I'm still worthy. And you see, it's like, after everything he's gone through, after all the crap he's gone through, the pain he's gone through, you see a small spark of hope and joy in his eyes, and even relief of just being like, even after everything I've done, after all my failures, after losing so much, I can still hold this hammer. And I really, 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 really love that. I love that. You just empathize. So I'm kind of getting a little teary eyed thinking about it.
Yeah. I've just got very like, oh,
yeah, it's
very quiet.
It's very bittersweet of this journey that the Russos and Waititi took him on. So it's just, I think Thor after Ragnarok was a great character in my mind. After Infinity War, Thor was my favorite MCU character. I loved Thor just with how powerful he was, how real he felt, like an actual human being who loses stuff. You can empathize with him. and then Endgame made him a bit more goofy, but at the same time, you felt for him even more. So I love what they did with him, and he's probably the movie like Thor: Love and Thunder is the movie I'm most excited for, just to see Taika back at it and see how he kind of controls everything with the Guardians and stuff. And if Thor's in Guardians 3, which James Gunn is going to start working on soon, that'd be amazing too, because I think he has a great dynamic with the Guardians. Infinity War as a whole, we've had this conversation before, is a great movie. Endgame was good, very good. I think it was a very satisfying end. People have their own opinion on the ending. I think it's perfect. It was like I said earlier at the very beginning, Captain America: First Avenger was the first MC movie I saw in a theater. So I was probably morally or nostalgically attached to Captain America more than any character. So to see him get his happy ending with Peggy, that made me super happy. And oh my God. Okay. The fact he lifted the hammer, I've told the story so many times to you, but like, I don't know if you like that, but okay. When he did that in the movie theater, I screamed so loud, I almost passed out. And Amber, my girlfriend, can testify to that. Cause it's just like, that was just such an exciting moment for me. Cause you know, the little comedic bit in Age of Ultron where he budges it a little bit. Yeah. And they always joke back and it's like, yeah, he was always able to do that. He just didn't want to embarrass Thor. And it's like, you can be like, oh, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, sure, that I think the Russos have a good handle of his character. It's like, that would make sense. But I love the slow ending of the slow push in on Peggy's house of them dancing in the living room. I think it's a beautiful ending.
Definitely.
For such a satisfying movie. But Infinity War as a whole is just a better cinematic experience, just with the sense of tragedy. At times, it does feel like almost a Shakespearean tragedy, because of just everything that goes down with it. Yeah. There's loss, there's deceit. So I don't know, it's a comedy at times, but at the end of it all, it's a tragedy. Especially with the last 5 minutes with everyone dying. Yeah. You see Peter Parker literally lying down and everyone talks about it's like his spider sense his powers were regenerating his body. So that's why it took him longer to die.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I never really thought about that before. I was just like, oh, emotional moment. But that makes
I think
sense.
It was definitely made to be an emotional moment, but I think the Russos were like, yeah, this is why he left.
Someone said that. He was like, yeah, that's what we had planned.
Yeah. Just the fact he's like, I don't want to die. I'm sorry, Mr. Stark. Like that. They had a good feel for Peter too.
Literally had a college assignment recording this October 1st. And we watched a video on, again, Thanos's hero arc. Yeah. And rewatching that scene, it was really cool. I was really interested in the story. And all of a sudden watch that scene and I literally had to pause the video and just be like, damn. Yeah. That really hit
that was
your
improv.
feels.
That moment was improv with him and Downey Jr. And it's cool that they can achieve something like that. And people, going back to this once again, every opinion is subjective. Everyone has their own take. I think it kind of is a little bit of a goofy line, but at the same time, it's very, very powerful. So it gets the point across. So it works really good.
The scene worked. Hence, I think literally 90% of the people watching it just start crying.
Yeah. I think if it was anything more than I'm sorry, Mr. Stark, it would have not really worked. But the fact it was just Peter dying, knowing he's dying, doesn't even say say goodbye to Aunt May for me, say goodbye to my friends. He just says, Mr. Stark, I'm sorry. Because Peter wants to be a hero so bad that he wants to fight. He wants to be on the same level as the rest of the Avengers. So the fact that he tries so hard and then he's just like, I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. I failed you and I'm sorry. And that's really why it's like, first off, people are crying because oh my gosh, Spider-Man's dying. But then you get this thing where it's like, you understand it's like he thinks he failed and he's dying. He dies knowing he failed. And that's a tragic little thing. That's a heartbreaking moment.
Totally. That and really good YouTube channel, Full Fat Videos, does video essays on this stuff. And there was one that they did one on the three main characters. They also did one on Star-Lord, which was very interesting.
That's a great one.
I showed you that
Star-Lord's a great character. James Gunn did a great job with him.
He his character arc and the way he everybody hated him by the end of Infinity War.
That's very true.
Literally everybody. But then going back, I think it was in between Endgame and Infinity War, just kind of that middle ground where all just okay, don't know what's gonna happen here. But
I walked out of the theater. I told my dad, I was like, I have no idea what they're gonna do. I have no idea what they could possibly do.
And then they end the series right there. Endgame did not happen.
Yeah, everyone actually dies.
Just MCU just collapses.
I love the interview with Chadwick Boseman, which rest in peace. And first, he was a really great dude. All the stuff that's come out about him. He's like one of those actors in Hollywood that it's like, no, he actually was a very genuine individual. And I really looked up to him. My brothers adored him. When they found out he passed away, they bawled. They actually cried.
I was literally at work, and just like the rest of the night, I just sat there at my register.
It was horribly
and I was just
depressing.
Like literally just sat there and just had no energy.
He battled cancer like his entire time in the MCU, from being cast in Civil War all the way to Endgame.
Colon cancer, something like that.
It's horrible, but I think the impact he had while he was here is beautiful, because when I think about my brothers, my dad said something really cool, because with all the racial tension and social issues happening this summer, I think it was really cool because my dad talked about how it's like it's beautiful to see my brothers or my sons crying over the fact that this black actor died, even though to them it didn't matter about race. It was, to them, a hero died. Black Panther died, an actual hero who did good. He fought good, and my brothers did not see color. They saw a hero. He was a really great man, but he had a really funny quote. He was a funny dude. He had a funny quote. I think after Infinity War, in like an interview for Endgame, some reporter was all like, where's Black Panther? What's he doing? What about Black Panther 2? Tell us about Black Panther 2. And he just looks at her and goes, I'm dead. She's like, can you tell us anything? He's like, I'm dead. I don't know what you want from me. I'm dead. So it's just, he plays to the factors like, there's nothing.
My character, like,
I'm dead.
It is what it is.
And I don't know. I honestly really miss him. I think he was a great actor, and I kind of hope they don't. I know they probably will, because it's Disney and they're going to keep the Black Panther universe running. It'd be interesting to see if they have his sister. I think her name is Shuri.
They'll definitely find some way to pass on the torch. It's just a question of like what they'll do for that.
I don't want them to recast. I don't want them to like take away his legacy.
They're definitely not going to recast. There's no way to recast.
If they did,
they would have so much backlash.
I was going to say, that'd be like the end of the MCU.
Yes.
There'd be so much rioting for that. So much hatred. I don't know. It's just,
that would just be disrespecting his character.
I think so too. I really do.
Like he played that character. That's his role. How they'll pass on the torch, there's no way they'll recast him, but how they're going to move it on. I'm like, I don't know if they'll just be time jump. Something happened, not around anymore, if that's how they're going to do it, or if they're going to try and like CGI him in, kind of like they did
for Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Whatever they do, they'll probably be respectful. Disney so far has been very, very good about kind of maintaining his legacy. They put up a mural at Walt Disney World of him, and they've been very respectful to his family, it sounds like. And it just, as much crap as people give Disney, and at times they deserve it, but they have done a very good job of mourning him, of respecting him, of even highlighting all the good he's done. So I think that the number one thing that would happen would be that the sister takes place and she becomes Black Panther. To just, I don't know a lot about the character to make a theory, an assumption of what would happen, but whatever they do, I think they'll definitely kind of give him a nice proper ending. Whether he moves away and lives with his girlfriend from the first movie or who knows what, just, I don't know. Marvel forever to me wasn't by no means the pinnacle of cinema, because it's not. But it was definitely a great form of entertainment. But for like me growing up in awkward teen years, and even earlier when I was a child, like in 2009. And so the MCU was almost a great representation of like what good is, what morality is, what fighting for what justice is, stuff like that. It was a good sense of being heroes. And
for the most part, they just had very real characters that you could get attached to. Even the side characters, you were like, you felt for them. I've
heard a lot of comparisons to being like the boomer generation's cowboy movies, like Westerns. Because they would kind of like idolize those cowboys, the cowboys of the West that fought for justice. They took in lawmen, or not lawmen, I don't know, burglars, I don't know, whatever cowboy slang. You know, you had the sheriff, you had the deputy, you had the Lone Ranger and his sidekick, and the crazy horse that was weird or whatever. And just, you had a lot of fun with that. And I feel like that's our generation's version of Westerns, is that we have the MCU, we have superheroes, we have these all powerful beings to look up to,
larger than life.
And I think it's getting to a point where it's definitely oversaturated.
Definitely.
Endgame for me was a perfect ending, but at the same time, capitalism does not agree with that. And because of that, we'll constantly have more superhero movies. I don't know. I hope they find a way to kind of reinvent it to where it's still fresh and I can keep going to the theater and actually being enjoyed, even if it's not the same feeling I'm getting as I get with Infinity War. Or, I don't know, but
there'll still be like nostalgia involved in it. Like going back and watching it, I think it'll still be like,
I just hope it's not solely nostalgia.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope it doesn't turn into that. We'll see. We'll see.
I think as a whole, Infinity War, but even just a big picture of the MCU played a really big part in kind of my childhood and growing up. And that's why I think Endgame was so emotional to me, because it was like, not only I was 18 when Infinity War, or when Endgame came out, I was 18.
Yeah.
So for me, it was literally like, I watching there kind of realized it's like, this is the end of my childhood, not only in the sense of Marvel, but also it's like, I'm a full adult now. I'm literally 18 years old. I'm about to go to college and soon I'll move out. I'm getting a job. I'm looking for internships. I'm making my own stuff. It's like, no longer am I a child who's idolizing these superheroes, wishing I had powers. It's like, now I'm an adult and I'm thankful for these movies. I'm thankful for what they taught me, the memories they gave me, the time I had when I was a child running around the backyard with my friends, pretending we're like the Avengers. Because of that, I have so many good memories of my childhood and good memories with my friends. And because of that, we're here talking about it today and how we're impacted by it.
A few college students just sitting here getting all sad
and emotional,
emotional, thinking about
superhero movies with big powers. But no matter what happens, no matter if 20 years from now they get crapped on and say, oh, it's so cheesy. It's like, no, I think to this day, or for my entire life, I will always look back and be like, no matter, if they're bad or good movies, I'm thankful for them because they really played a big part in who I am. Mm-hmm. Maybe not as a storyteller, but as just a human being. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's a good end to the
I'll say for me,
podcast. Well, I guess not.
No, I gotta tell my story.
Okay, sorry.
Life story. All right, here's another hour real quick. Here we go. We're gonna dive deep down into my past and trauma and all. No. But for me, like even to this day, not the moment, but that kind of time, that 1 hour and a half, I think I even had to leave the movie early because my parents were like, it's bedtime. You're going to bed. Didn't get to finish the movie.
Time for sleepy, Tyler.
It's sleepy time.
It's sleepy time.
It's sleepy. But yeah, that hour and a half of watching the Avengers movie for the first time on the garage, not even being able to hear it, was just like, my mind exploded. Like that was wild. That was the first time I fell in love with like I like the Wildcrats. They kind of had like animal powers. but like real.
My favorite superheroes are the Crab Brothers.
The Crab Brothers. They rescue all the animals. But yeah, I felt that was that got me into movies in general. And so just like looking back on it, like watching these movies, like that was like, that got me into like, oh, there's like a whole business out here where you can you people get paid to do this. Yeah. Like this is so cool.
You sit there and you're like, I can make this. I can do this one day. I could make something very much like this. And it is inspiring.
Yeah. And that feeling of just like wonder, excitement, whatever, my goal one day is to maybe create my own like fantasy universe or like be able to create one that somebody's already created, anything, just like make it happen.
To make something like that happen.
Yeah. Because that feeling of like wonder, like I love Lord of the Rings movies, Star Wars, all that stuff. Of just like stepping outside of your world, like just kind of going to this theater and being able to leave your world and like experience a whole nother thing, like just a whole nother universe, where there's all these different like characters, powers, all this kind of
to enter a whole brand new reality.
Yeah. Just to change your reality from that is essentially what entertainment is to take you, like pluck you out of your reality,
to entertain you for 2 hours, for however long, to put you through a whole new universe.
But to give, my goal, I've written this on so many freaking college applications. Like my goal is to make a movie that will have other kids when they're around the same age inspired to like, oh, this is so cool.
I used to say the exact same thing on my applications and stuff too.
Maybe everybody says
pretty
that.
basic, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, it's a way of expression, all this stuff. And honestly, have not had that much childhood trauma or anything like that.
No.
But like,
yeah, we're pretty average white kids. We're from suburbia.
We are. So apologize for those of you out there who are like, want to make movies because express myself, more power to you. Awesome. I have not had that experience yet, but to be able to create that emotion for somebody else and the fulfillment that would be to like see other people impacted by what you did. That is insane.
Preach.
Thank you. Dude. Yeah. I should be a film pastor. Just in church. But yeah, anyway, that was kind of my 2 cents of those.
Sorry.
You good?
I'm just picturing like a dude with like film reel around his neck and like a black toga.
Just average white guy. Movie.
In Inception, chapter 2, minute 4, Leonardo. You got like a dude on like Hans Zimmer on organ. Nolan says we need to respect the dreamscape. Respect it. Anyways, talk about your life.
Yeah, that was kind of my 2 cents of just like, yeah, I want like the Marvel movies for that for me was just like a mindset now of just like, oh, I remember this emotion. This is what I want to give to other people. Yeah. That's why I want to make movies.
I think that's dead on. I think I know you apologized earlier for saying that, but please don't. I think that's one of the best reasons to get into entertainment is for you and I and for kids like us to watch cartoons, to watch movies from growing up and feel inspired by it. And then to be like, I want to inspire someone the same way that creators of the past have inspired me.
Totally.
And I feel like even you don't have to have a tragic backstory to get into film. You don't have to be to bring it all together. You don't have to be a superhero. You don't have to have a tragic backstory. You have to just be someone who's willing to put yourself out there, to work hard, to create, to work together with people.
Yeah. And
to share a vision.
Yeah. Movies are a way of just like,
it's in a sense, it's very expressive.
You're very much living. I mean, what I was gonna say is you very much living like with that same imagination as you were when you were a child.
Yeah.
And being able to not really have to grow. I mean, you have to grow up, but like still holding on to those just little fun, like,
yes,
like that is like just imagination, creativity, being able to give that to someone where they will hopefully grab that and then move on one day and
then create something else. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cycle.
It's beautiful. Cause I mean, I went to Sundance this past February. Or January.
Yeah.
And a lot of directors, you just see it because a lot of them were young kids. Like they're probably like 5 to 10 years older than us.
Yeah.
Some were maybe in their 30s and 40s, stuff like that. But a lot of them, like my favorite director from Sundance was Edson Oda. And he directed a movie called 9 Days, which is not out yet. And I think that's a crime because 9 Days is probably the best movie I've ever seen.
It is coming out in January.
It is coming out in January. And I'm going to take all my friends.
January 2021.
So I'm very excited.
If theaters
please, if you see trailers for that, like if you're hearing this in the future, go watch that movie. Because when that movie comes out, we're going to talk about it. I have a whole visual essay planned out about it. It's a very, very beautiful film. And I think no matter who you are, what your background, everyone needs to see that movie. There's so much you can learn from that movie, so much you can feel from that movie. But anyways, no one knows what I'm going to talk about because nobody
knows. So you're sitting over here like
I'm just kind of like you must go see it.
This is my cornerstone of life.
I don't cry very often in movies, and I was sobbing throughout that, and it's just so good. But it's beautiful because Edson talked about how there was like a ton of he did have an experience that is quite sad that affected how he made his movie. It basically inspired him with his story. And it is a very tragic story to go through. But at the same time, he also attributes a lot of it to a lot of movies he saw growing up, a lot of creators he was inspired by. So I don't care if it's Spielberg. I don't care if it's Scorsese or if it's someone like I'm trying to think of a more goofy director. Is it Robert Rodriguez who did the Spy Kids movies?
I think so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you're inspired by. It's like if someone inspires you to do something, to be creative, to get out there and put your passion to the test,
Mhm.
then that's it. That's beautiful. That's art. That's no matter if it's film, if it's painting, if it's music, that's art.
Mhm.
That's
Totally.
that's the whole goal is to put your passions, your inspirations to the test and create something, whether it's physical or I don't know, like audio format or something, and put it out there to the world to possibly get that same effect, to love, to get people to appreciate what you did and to inspire them more. I think that's the whole goal of a lot of art, is to say something and to have people hear it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, that about sums it up.
Yeah. Anyways, Infinity War was a good movie.
Anyway, I know we kind of like didn't like we kind of talked about it, but like we got sidetracked. But that's okay. That's okay.
That's
Good
the whole point of this, is just to keep talking and to stop kicking the mic, stupid.
I'm sorry. I have long legs, okay? We're sitting like, okay.
Anyways,
I
we
wish
don't
you
know
guys
if this
could
will
see-
ever release, but
Yeah, I wish you guys could see like our setup right
it's
now.
pretty janky. Yeah, we're just like shoulder to shoulder in front of a shotgun
We're just
condenser
like
microphone.
leaning together.
Yeah, it's
there's
interesting.
Like a dresser right in front of us.
We're in my tiny, not soundproofed room. The fan's not on. I'm sweating. I don't know if you're sweating.
I'm like, I think I'm like shaking. Like, I don't know why, but
That's
like,
not good.
just like I need food or something.
All right, well, I'll go.
Anyway,
give you
this is a
pretzels or
good-
something.
Well, I'm gonna go
Anyways.
home anyway. So
That's very true. All right. Well, let's just wrap this up. I've once again been Colin Hodgin,
And my name is Tyler Skrove.
and I hope you enjoyed our little roundabout sidetracked adventure.
Yeah, if you do hear this, if you do hear this and you make it this,
You want to try that again? Do you want to do that whole outro again?
Okay.
That kind of got bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's just.
Once again, I've been Colin Hodgin,
And my name is Tyler Skrove.
and I hope you've just. Okay, we'll try it again.
Here.
Okay.
This is good practice. Keep this in here.
Okay.
This is good. This is character building. I don't know what I just said.
I've been Colin Hodgin.
I have been.
I have been
in my past.
in the past.
I've been known as.
Okay. Once again, I'm Colin Hodgin,
And I am Tyler Skrove.
and I hope you enjoyed this however long time period of just kind of rambling.
Yeah, I mean, if you hear this, thank you so much for making
Thanks
it
for
this far.
putting away.
Like, I don't know what. It's been like an hour or so at
It's
least.
been 42 minutes. So if you've sat through 42 minutes of this,
Props. Like, honestly,
you're probably really
claps.
cool, and I'd love to give you a handshake and maybe even a forehead kiss if you're okay with it. But
nice little pat on the shoulder, like just an elbow touches
a
right now.
love hug, maybe, but
yeah.
like a friendly though, a platonic.
Yeah. Not like romantically.
No,
No. I
No,
mean,
it's stupid.
But I mean, like, if it did happen, I mean, if we were like, if it was mutual, then like maybe.
you're saying
But
you want a hug right now? I'm down for a hug.
say less.
All right, well, we're gonna end it.
after this.
Yeah,
hold
we're
on.
gonna go. Okay, we're gonna
really
do a
quick,
hug.
really
Okay.
quick, really quick. I believe it's going out on YouTube first. So if you do see this and you've made it this far, be sure to subscribe. I think we're gonna try and get it out on like Apple Music Podcasts.
I honestly
Spotify.
didn't know what you were talking about at first.
Yeah.
We're talking about this.
Yeah, this
Okay,
right here.
I thought you were plugging like a music video or something. I
Anyway,
was like,
go
what's
see
he
my
doing?
short film.
Yeah.
But yeah, be sure to like stick around. We're gonna try, and once we find our groove here, I think we're gonna talk a few more. But we want to try and get some guests on here.
Yeah, we want to get a lot of other filmmakers our age and stuff, and maybe even older. Possibly a really awesome, big time professor
that we got.
Yeah.
He's created some really nice.
You might have heard of him. He may or may not be a cucumber, so we'll talk about
He
that.
may or may not voice a cucumber.
We'll
That's
see.
kind of wild.
But yeah. But once again, if you do like what you hear, check us out, subscribe, and hopefully we'll keep doing this. And if we do keep doing this, I promise you it'll get better. It'll become
sure.
better quality. It'll become just probably a better production as a
If
whole.
we can invest in it and like actually get serious about
Yeah.
this instead of just two guys sitting in the room ranting about
Yeah,
characters from Infinity War
Exactly.
and Marvel Universe.
but yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely do some things. I don't know if you guys. I think we might try and do a thing where we watch a movie once every however many times.
We'll see. We're not going to spoil anything.
Okay, we're not going to.
Yeah.
But like, if you did, throw a movie down there that you think that'd be fun for us to talk about.
Tell us about your least favorite movie you've ever seen, and we'll watch it and we'll talk about it.
Definitely. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Again, Tyler Skrove.
Why are you pointing?
pointed at you,
Colin. I'm Colin.
Colin.
All right.
That is his name.
I'm Colin.
Or was his name apparently.
Anyways, Tyler and I are gonna go. Stop kicking the microphone.
Sorry.
All right. Well, now Tyler's getting like one less hug, but we're gonna go hug.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you.